Hello and welcome to the Gary Dunn Show for September 14th, 2019. I'm your host, Gary Smith. And on today's show, we're going to talk to Coach Dunn about this past week's game against Kutztown. We're going to look ahead to this upcoming week's opponent, Shippensburg, and we're going to talk all things Vulcan football, PSAC football, maybe instant replay in the NFL and everything else like that. But Coach, a little different vibe this week. We're not on loggerheads. I'm kind of missing people around us, even though no one offered us nothing to drink, nothing to eat the entire time we were there. So
yeah, it's good to be back in the studio.
Yeah, it's climate controlled and good to be home. And speaking of home, you guys were home this past Saturday, home opener for the Vulcan football team, 2019 against Kutztown, and it's a team that you guys faced last year. Very tough team, and coming in Saturday, that we talked at Loggerheads last week on the coach show that they were a good-looking team on film, and they proved it on the field on Saturday.
Yeah, give Kutztown credit. They played extremely well. Tip your hat to those guys. They made more plays than we did. Was happy with the way we battled and competed. But at the end of the day, we didn't make enough plays to win the game, and kind of ran out of time a little bit.
And in that game on Saturday, it was a back and forth game, and there were a couple. It was a good college football game. It was one of those games that neither team could get ahead of the other in a significant time, and like you said, team battled back and battled to the very end. And it was a warm day, an unseasonably warm day on Saturday at Adamson Stadium. But it looked like the way the game was really started focusing on the run game, because you have two running backs, rather Nelson Brown and Cousins back there, that were just gaining yards left and right against Kutztown.
Yeah, we were out of sync a little bit early in the first quarter for whatever reason. We didn't, the first drive, we had a nice drive going and end up, I was making a decision there. We were about the 30, 35-yard line, whether to go forward. It was 4th and 10. And then we get a procedure penalty, backs us up, and we don't have a lot of 4th and 15 play calls, so we decided to punt. I thought our freshman punter did a nice job, pinned him down inside the 5 a couple times, but just out of rhythm. So we said, hey, let's settle down, let's go to the run game. Jamorier Cousin came in off the bench and had a really nice drive, kind of sparked us with some energy and kind of got things rolling. So we believe we were able to tie it up 7-7 at that point and obviously get back in the game.
And then it was 14-7 at Kutztown, and then it seems like a broken record. Lamont McFadder makes a big play on defense, ties it up. And we'll see on the highlights in a little bit. He jumps a route. What was that like on the sideline to see that? Because you don't really see your reaction on the sideline. You just see him like a missile coming in on the play, and then the pick, and then your entire sideline jumping up and tied it up right before halftime, 14-0.
Yeah, deja vu kind of, to be honest with you, But great read, great jump on the ball, and Lamont has worked very hard at his ball skills, and obviously, it was a big boost for all of us to tie it up. There was a point in the game where we had turned it over, and the defense held on a short field, and they attempted a field goal and missed it. So it was kind of a crucial point in the game. So we get to halftime tied at 14.
And then the second half was a back and forth game. We'll skip ahead kind of the fourth quarter. Needed a drive to tie the game up and come up with a big drive and a touchdown run by Nelson Brown to tie the game up at the end of the game.
Yeah, well, you go back to the third quarter, we take the lead, we go up 21-14, We're driving the ball, and unfortunately had a controversial 4th and 1 play that we didn't get. I thought that was a big swing in the game, and a chance to go up 2 scores there if we keep that drive alive down in the red zone. Thought that was a big point in the game, but give Kutztown credit, they made the play and we didn't. They ended up taking the lead, but was happy and to see our guys be who I know they are. Dunn, I think 6-7 minutes left to go in the game. Dunn scored to put a drive together and tie it up at 28-28.
Yeah, definitely. As a fan of watching in the truck, that you could definitely see that everyone was still engaged in the game, fighting to the last second. But like last year, Kutztown comes ahead with a win, and we're going to take a look at the highlights from this past week, and then, Coach, we're going to talk about looking ahead, turning the page, looking ahead to moving forward, looking ahead to Shippensburg. So after the highlights of this past week game, you'll see a commercial break, and then you'll see highlights of last year's game against Shippensburg. So stay tuned. The rest of the Gary Dunn Show will be right here on CUTV.
Fakes the handoff, dropping back to throw. Got some edge pressure to deal with here. Looking for the end zone. Man, all alone, and he will walk in for the first score of the game for the Golden Bears. Mitchell has it, looking to throw. Quick slant route. There it is. Touchdown, Vulcans. Across the middle. Oh, it's an interception for California. Wide open space. Across the middle. Touchdown, Vulcans. And who else but Lamont McBatter, the ball-talking All-American, does it again, Devin. 1st and 20 now. Here it is. Oh, almost had him there. Had to throw this one away. And oh, it's so close. They think they have it on the sideline. Mitchell again looking to throw, drops back. Had a lot of pressure to deal with. Oh, right through the hands of Cam Tarrant. It's going to be intercepted. Kutztown heading the other way now. Left to go. Here we go. Dropping back Mitchell. Mitchell's looking to throw across the middle. There it is. Touchdown, Vulcans. Into the hands of Derek Caraway. Cal U takes the lead. Gobble drops back to throw. He's surveying, going across the middle. The field goes high, and oh, what a catch there as he's continuing to break free all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Golden Bears. It's Mason McElroy able to slip his man. DeGalbo looking to let this one for the end zone. He's got a man heading for the end zone. There it is. Touchdown, Golden Bears. They take the lead on one play. Here it is, a handoff to Brown. Brown going inside. Brown charges forward. Brown dragging one, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcans. Nelson Brown. DeGalbo back to throw once again. He's feeling some pressure going across the middle, and there it is once again. Another reception, and he slips off his man into the end zone. Once again, he's having himself a day.
Colin, what's wrong, man?
I just don't know how my family back home in Millersburg, Pennsylvania can watch our stuff down here.
Well, they could follow us on Twitter, or they could like us on Facebook.
Yeah, but what about our sports? How can they watch those?
They could watch it live on our YouTube channel.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie, nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Have you seen the new Cal U Vulcan logo around? Have you wondered where to get gear featuring it? Then go to calvulcans.com and click shop. Log on and browse a full selection of men's shirts, women's shirts, pullovers, hoodies, and more. All items feature customization with the new Cal U Vulcan logo and wordmark. The site also features a full selection of hats, tailgating items, and accessories. Don't be the last person to sport new Cal U Vulcan gear. Go to calvulcans.com today.
Mitchell is back to throw, and he's going to dump this one off quickly to Jordan Dandridge. Once again, Jordan Dandridge makes a couple men miss, and he is in the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcans. He will fake the handoff and go across the middle. And that one's going to be intercepted by California. First interception of the year, rolling around with room to work, and I think he might be off to the races here. We'll see how it plays out. Working 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Vulcans! Here's Noah Mitchell on third down, looking to throw. Quick slant, once again, dragged by the hair, but still getting away. He's Tyson Hill. Tyson Hill He is off to the races. Touchdown, Vulcans. Brown's going to receive this football, and he's going to work towards the far sideline. No one to beat here. Two guys getting towards the pylon. Will he tiptoe in? He will. Tiptoe through the tulips. Touchdown, Nelson Brown. Mitchell receives this one. It's going to be a handoff to Nelson Brown. Nelson Brown only has one man to beat, and he's going to take off towards the end zone. Will he make it in? He puts the afterburners on. He is in. Touchdown, Vulcans. Here's Musina now looking towards the middle of the field. Fingertip ball here, and it will be an interception here. Lamont McFadder comes up with the tip drill interception. No, Mitchell will keep this one and run right up the middle. He will find his way into the end zone on the quarterback keep. Touchdown, Vulcans. Musina with a jump throw here, and we've got another interception on the day. Moving towards the near sideline. One man to beat, it's Musina putting his head down. Also Brooks with the handoff to Jalen Bell. Jalen Bell towards the far sideline, and he will spin right on into the end zone. Mark it down, another touchdown for the Vulcans.
To the Gary Dunn Show. That was highlights from last year's game against Shippensburg, who is this week's opponent. Funny how that works out. And Coach, kind of like Yogi Berra used to say, it's deja vu all over again. Shippensburg is the opponent coming off a loss to Kutztown. Shippensburg coming into this matchup 0-2, but we were talking during the highlights. They look pretty decent on tape.
Yeah, they're a little bit younger this year, but they've played 2 games. They played Clarion to start, and then obviously Slippery Rock this week. So, struggled a little bit in the first 2, but I know their coaching staff, and I'm sure they'll have those guys ready to play.
And their offense that you look at it always seems like whenever I'm looking at stats from usually when we get in the middle of the season. It's always been like the West has been a tougher, grinded out, and the East is more like a CFL. You got scores that are 54-40. Do they have that kind of offense this year where they're just going to wing it around? We saw last year they were trying to throw it against Cal, and we saw in the highlights that there was a no-fly zone in the Vulcan defense. But is this a similar offense, or have they changed anything up this year?
Returning quarterback that does a nice job. They do a lot of RPO, run pass option stuff. They've got a nice running game that complements their passing game, and they're going to try and put certain guys in conflict and read that guy. And the thing they do have is a couple returning starting tight ends that are really good football players. Running games, good enough to keep you honest. And when you're RPO, and you got to make sure that you're assignment responsible, and that our keys and our reads are correct, and we're playing the right gaps and doing the right things, or they're going to have big plays.
And on the defensive side, what type of front are they standard, or are they doing anything different that most teams don't do?
Four-man front, and they'll do some different things with their support players. They'll support with the corners, they'll support with the safeties in the run game, play a cover 4, mix in a little cover 2, play some man coverage. So try and give you some different looks to stop the run, and then mix up their coverages in the pass game.
And for the fans at home, we talked about the quarterback a little bit, son of Mike Musina, the Hall of Fame pitcher who pitched for the Yankees, Orioles. Matt Kiefer's going to grill me on this because we just talked about this the other day, but always something. Definitely has an arm. But what's the message this week in practice from the coach staff to players coming off of loss? Like I said, almost the same situation as last year. Lost Kutztown, playing Shippensburg this year, although it is nice to have Shippensburg at home.
Absolutely. It's take care of us, is take care of our responsibilities. We're going to meet here at 3 o'clock today and review the game film. We start with a team meeting and special teams, and I go to offense and defense, and we got to fix things that we screwed up. There was some errors on both sides of the ball. We can be better. I thought special teams played well, but we definitely can be better there. It's focus on California. Let's play the next play. Let's get better today and keep moving forward.
And moving forward will be this Saturday at Adams Stadium, 1 o'clock. Make sure to come on out. But before we put a bow on this week's edition of the Gary Dunn Show, Coach's favorite time, we're going to look at graphics of standings and upcoming schedules and everything like that. But first, we're going to look back at all the action this past weekend in the PSAC. It was the first weekend of crossover play. We see this week's opponent, Shippensburg, going to Slippery Rock and losing 54-19. IUP blanking Millersville 54-0, and then Westchester going up to Lake Erie and beating Gannon 48-14 in the other games in the conference this past weekend. Bloomsburg playing Edinboro, tough, 24-21. They got out of there with a win. Shepherd in their first PSAC action ever, win 22-17. And interesting to know about that game when we were keeping tabs on it. It was 2-0 for the longest time. There was a safety early on, and we actually thought that the score service was off because I'm like 2-0 for a long time. That seemed like it stayed
Baseball.
Yeah, it seemed like it was that way for a long time, but 22-17 was the final. Clarion beating Lock Haven at home 48-20, and then East Stroudsburg going to Greensburg and beating Seton Hill 31-18. And now we're going to swing right into the standings. I mean, it's only 2 weeks in, but it gives an idea what teams are doing overall. We have 3 undefeateds, Clarion, IUP, Slippery Rock, and then at the bottom, Edinboro 0-2 and Seton Hill 0-1 after one game. If we look at the PSAC East, we will see that pretty much the same thing.
Yeah,
so
right.
The bell curve works. 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and then 0-2 at the bottom. This week's opponent, Shippensburg, and we're going to take a look now at this week's games in the PSAC. As we mentioned, the second week of crossover play. Obviously, Shippensburg, Kyle, 1 o'clock, and then there's only one game kicking off before us. Seton Hill traveling to Westchester, a couple 1 o'clock games. That should be Gannon, not Gabnanon. I'm always good for one horrible misspelling a show, and that's the one. Hopefully that's the only one. And then a full slate of games ending with Millersville at Slippery Rock. And Coach, I know one of the games I was looking at besides ours was that Edinboro game, because they've had 2 tough games so far this year at Grand Valley, and then a close loss this past weekend. But this time of year, this is, I think, a great time because you get that second week of crossover, and then you know that next week it's divisional games for the next 2 months.
Yeah, so it's a lot of good games this week. I agree that Edinboro game's a good one, and then I'm anxious to see that Shepherd game. But yeah, it's another PSAC game, and playing the East, and then we get into divisional play next week. But it's an opportunity for us to go out and compete at home in front of hopefully a huge Family Day crowd. I know there's a lot of things planned on campus for Family Day, and we've got to get better, and we got to get back to work this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely come up do the Family Day stuff early and get up to the stadium by about 12:30. And I thought it was a pretty good crowd this week, this past week, and even though the weather up until about 12:59 looked like it was going to rain, and then as soon as the game kicked off, it became 150 degrees. So hopefully the weather cooperates a little bit better this week. But Coach, let's have a good week of practice, and we'll see you on Saturday, 1 o'clock at Adamson Stadium.
Looking forward to it.
So if you can't make it, if you have a doctor's excuse, like we said last week, if you're not within 12 hours, you have no excuse not to get here. The game will be live on Cal Vulcans. Well, the links will be on calvulcans.com. You can watch it on Stretch Internet on the PSAC portal or the CUTV Sports 1 site on YouTube, or you can listen to it on the radio, 91.9 FM. And also, we didn't even mention this, the radio station, new transmitter, so we were able to keep the live radio feed on during football games because it's not a safety issue anymore.
Big time.
So there's all kinds of ways, but the best way is to come and
live
cheer
in
the
person.
Vulcans. Yeah, get your red and black gear on. And so, Coach, we'll see you next week. And for everybody at home, you've been watching the Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV.